the natural hot running water. While nearby, a small cluster of scarlet rhododendrons also enjoy the warmth. There is plenty of evidence of former earthquakes here. Great rocks dislodged from above and rolled down this grassy slope like so many monolithic marbles. Group joined Professor Bank aboard his inflatable boat for a special trip to an important Aleut site. In the 1930s, a trading vessel, the Umnak Native, was wrecked in a great storm. Most of its crew perished, but 3 survived by huddling together in an Aleut barabra, an underground house. The remains of the barabra are still there. Today, old village sites can be recognized by the collapsed remains of these underground houses and the vegetation that grows on them. The old Aleuts dug into the volcanic soil to make their houses, covered over the pit with driftwood logs and sod, and entered by means of a central smoke hole opening and a notched driftwood log that served as a ladder. It was a storm-proof shelter, well adapted to the Aleutians. Back to Hot Springs Cove to strike camp. But they found that they'd had a visitor. Their friendly neighborhood fox had turned to crime and was in process of absconding with their socks and underwear after helping himself to the food supply. They certainly didn't want to become storm-bound again. So camp was quickly struck and the expedition once more moved towards its ultimate goal, Nikolsky, still some 30 miles down the coast. Sea lion rookeries are fairly common along the Aleutian chain, but this one was in a turmoil, not because of the expedition, but because offshore a school of killer whales was on the prowl. Seals and sea lions become nervous when such predators are about. To tell the truth, the expedition rather shared the sea lion's feelings about those killer whales. As they neared Nikolsky, they all realized with different feelings that their great adventure was coming to an end. In a sense, it had been a true journey backwards into time, for they had chosen a route used many times before by Aleut hunters and seafarers long forgotten. It was to them that the voyage was dedicated. As for the rest of it, everyone in the expedition had different memories to carry home.
We paddled in conditions, well, the locals say that it's one of the worst summers they've ever had. The weather conditions were far worse than I ever expected. There were many times when I never thought we'd see land again.
Well, certainly, I think you turn inwards on yourself. When the wind blows, the noise increases. When things get harder, paddling is more difficult. You tend very quickly to turn in on yourself, to sort of close the eyes and ears and just pitch yourself against nature.
We were bringing a kayak back to an area where kayaking and canoeing took place in a major form as an industry and a way of life many years ago. This was the main aim.
I think, as far as I can see, I've achieved this goal, which is to go on an expedition to an area in the world where no other European has kayaked.
Kayaking is really a fine way of going. After kayaking and comparing it with other modes of transportation, that I was able to observe that actually kayaking is a reasonable way to get around in these waters. It's comfortable if you're skilled and your equipment is good and your judgment is fair. And I think that this will be an encouragement for other people to come out and do the same thing. And they don't have to be senior instructors to do it. I think if they're, as long as they're sensible about how they approach it, you'll get where you're going.
Ahead lay the destination. It had once been called Receshnoi, but people found that rather hard to pronounce, so it was changed to Umnak and then to its present name, Nikolsky. Nearby is an abandoned White Alice early warning station, mute evidence of American awareness of Russian proximity. The villagers now have airmail services, whereas in the past only a mailboat that came once a year. As in every Aleut community, there is a Russian Orthodox church, and inside, priceless icons. The townspeople were expectant. They knew the expedition was due, but chores had to be done first. The serial dish that beams telephone calls to and from Nikolsky by satellite. Only it doesn't always work. The Aleuts find it convenient to dry their salmon in it. As the day wore on, the excitement increased in the town. Then the cry went out, the British are coming.
Hey, there they are! Wow! Hey, look at them! Look at them! See that green thing? Oh, yeah!
A plane dipped low in salute. Then 5 kayaks smoothly gliding into Nikolsky Bay, near the end of a voyage that began 25 days before. In that time, each kayakist had dipped his paddle into Aleutian waters more than 250,000 times to cover some 300 miles of zigzag journey from Dutch Harbour to the western tip of Umnak. The kayakers do an Eskimo victory roll to celebrate their success.
Yeah! He looked at the
Almost the whole population of Umnak turned out. Every man, woman, child and dog. And what of the kayaks, now that the voyage is over? They were left at Nikolsky. And a new generation of Aleuts will be in touch with an almost forgotten part of their past, even though it's a glass fiber replica that came to the Aleutians by plane from halfway around the world.